What does a billionaire on the verge of a $100 million deal have in common with the black waitress pouring his water? Nothing. At least that's what Adrian Voss believed. At the Marlowe, one of Manhattan's most exclusive restaurants, he was ready to reshape the future of green energy. Contracts open, pen in hand, he never saw her coming. A quiet waitress with weary eyes carried the truth that could save or destroy him. Just as he was about to sign, she whispered 4 words that froze his world. That's the wrong formula. The Marlowe reeked of money, truffle oil, leather, quiet power. Naomi Cole moved through it nightly, fading into linen and crystal. Tonight, table 12 was the crown jewel, and seated at its head was Voss, the MIT prodigy who built Voss Dynamics. With him sat Edward Langford, heir of a banking dynasty, Kenji Mori, a Tokyo investor, and Dr. Malcolm Reeves, his head of R&D, basking in pride. Naomi refilled glasses silently as Adrian tapped his tablet. "Show them the core equation, Malcolm." Reeves boldly scrawled on a linen napkin, smug as he explained, maximizing quantum tunneling, manipulating spin states, securing their patent. Langford and Mori studied it reverently, though they understood none of it. Voss leaned in razor-focused. "And the tunneling probability function?" Reeves smiled. "Stable across temperatures and pressures. My proprietary breakthrough." Naomi froze, picture trembling. Her gaze locked on the last term, plus sigma. Recognition stabbed her. She had spent 2 years deriving it in grad school. The memory surged, late-night debates with Professor Alden, the thrill of discovery, and the crushing moment she realized the flaw, an electron density miscalculation that made the reaction volatile. She'd warned Alden. He ignored her, then published the flawed work with Reeves, erasing her name. Threatened and buried in debt, she disappeared. Now her ghost had returned on a billionaire's napkin, a $100 million time bomb. Voss reached for the contracts, Montblanc pen gleaming. Naomi's pulse thundered. She imagined the headline, "Voss Dynamics Plant Explosion Kills Dozens." Reeves smirked. Click. The pen uncapped. Naomi stepped forward, smile fixed as if offering bread. She leaned close. "Mr. Voss," she whispered, lips near his ear. "Don't sign. That's the wrong formula." The restaurant carried on, but Adrian's world tilted. He froze, pen hovering above the page. Logic said it was absurd, a waitress whispering quantum chemistry. Yet Naomi's steady eyes unsettled Adrian Voss. He turned, storm-gray gaze fixed. "What did you just say?" His voice rumbled low. Edward Langford peered over his glasses. "Is there a problem?" Naomi's heart pounded, but her poise held. "My apologies," she said softly. "I misspoke." She turned to retreat. "No," Adrian snapped. "Say it again." Dr. Reeves scoffed. "Adrian, this is ridiculous. The staff is interrupting." His glare promised Naomi's firing. But she looked at him with contempt. She leaned closer, whispering, "The tunneling function P sigma, it's wrong. It ignores relativistic effects. Electron density isn't static." The alcove went silent. Langford and Kenji Mori exchanged puzzled looks. Reeves's confidence cracked, sweat beading. "That's absurd. Who are you?" "It's stolen research," Naomi cut in. "I corrected it 6 years ago. Under pressure, your catalyst won't just fail, it'll explode. You're not building green energy. You're building a bomb." Adrian's eyes narrowed, shifting between her certainty and Reeves's fear. A bead of sweat betrayed him more than words. Adrian capped his pen with a sharp click and set it aside. "Gentlemen," he said smoothly, "we must pause to verify a technical matter. Dessert is on me." His gaze cut to Reeves. "Stay here." Then to Naomi, "You. With me." He rose, commanding, and strode out. Naomi set the pitcher down, trembling under 100 stares. Her manager, Francois, stormed forward. "Cole, what in God's name?" Adrian's voice rang out, calm and absolute. "She's with me, Francois. Add damages to my bill." Silence froze the room. Naomi breathed deep and followed him into the cool Manhattan night, leaving behind a $100 million deal and her old life. The Maybach ride was taut, neon streaking past. Naomi sat opposite him, uniform stark against cream leather, his gaze dissecting her. "What's your name?" "Naomi Cole." "And you're a waitress?" "Yes." Before that, the elevator opened into Voss Dynamics' sleek tower. Naomi steadied herself. "I was a doctoral candidate in computational chemistry at Caltech." "Advisor?" Adrian asked. "Professor Alden." Recognition flickered. "I've read his work, the 2019 paper with Reeves." Naomi's silence confirmed it. "That paper?" Adrian said darkly, is the spine of our project. It's built on a flaw, Naomi replied firmly. I found it before he published. He erased me and published with Reeves. Adrian's mind pieced together the truth, the professor, the postdoc, the silent student. Why didn't you fight? Adrian asked. I was 24, buried in debt. He was tenured, backed by the university. Their lawyers would have crushed me. So I disappeared. He led her into a frosted glass conference room. She sat while he paced, a predator in control. Tonight I was about to bet $100 million in my company on that formula. If you're right, you save me. If you're wrong, you cost me everything. So, Naomi Cole, how certain are you? 100%, she said firmly. The math doesn't lie. Reeves's math does. Prove it. For the next hour, Adrian tested her. With his background in physics, he fired question after question. Quantum principles, materials, electron dynamics. Naomi answered them all. Freed of her disguise, she came alive. Equations filled the whiteboard, her hands steady and sure. The waitress was gone. The scientist had returned. Adrian's skepticism turned to awe, then to fury, directed at Reeves. As Naomi finished the corrected tunneling function, his phone buzzed. Adrian, what's going on? Reeves bolted, Maury's ready to walk. Adrian replied, minor snag. I'll handle it. He looked at Naomi with new respect. You've shown me the fire. Now I need the arsonist. You'll have full access, servers, raw data, Reeves's files. Find proof he knew. I want the smoking gun. My company is in your hands. Naomi's eyes went to her equations, her stolen work reborn. Yes, she said. I can. The Voss Dynamics R&D lab was a cathedral of science. Sterile, glowing, alive with supercomputers. Naomi inhaled the sharp scent of solvents like a long-forgotten perfume. Adrian led her to Reeves's terminal. You'll have my override, he said, unlocking it with his thumb. Gavin, my security chief, will block Reeves remotely. But if he hid something, it'll be deep. I'll calm the investors. Use the time well. Silence closed in. Naomi stared at the vast data. Intimidation faded. She dove past conclusions into raw sensor logs, where truth lived untouched. Hours blurred. She wasn't a waitress now. She was a scientist on the hunt. At 3:17 a.m., she found the first crack. 6 months earlier, Reeves's report showed perfect stability. But the raw logs revealed a violent gamma spike, exactly what her corrected formula predicted. Got you, she whispered. The system hadn't crashed. A hidden subroutine erased the anomaly and carried on. Naomi traced its digital signature. It appeared in dozens of runs. Reeves hadn't blundered. He had hidden the instability deliberately for over a year. As dawn broke, Naomi uncovered something buried deep in the kernel, a hidden folder, M_contingency. Marcus Alden. Her old professor. It was sealed with ES-256 encryption. Naomi remembered his favorite Einstein quote, subtle is the Lord, but malicious he is not. With trembling hands she typed it in German. Enter. Decryption successful. 2 files appeared. The first, a crypto ledger, $5 million from OmniGen, owned by Richard Hayes, Adrian's rival, funneled into Reeves's account. The second, an audio file. Reeves's conspiratorial voice filled the lab. Tomorrow Voss signs. Once they break ground in Arizona, we leak the flaw to the EPA. Lawsuits bury Voss Dynamics. You acquire the patents for pennies. Hayes's voice replied, smooth, and the stable formula, you have it? Of course, Reeves said. Alden's protege solved it years ago. The corrected tunneling function is brilliant. Adjust sigma for relativistic effects. It changes everything. Naomi slumped back, breath gone. Proof of sabotage, espionage, and theft, twice over. Reeves had weaponized her discovery. She saved the files to an external drive. Her smoking gun. But before she could call Adrian, a red alert flashed. Unauthorized Level 1 access. Sector 7G. Not Adrian's clearance. Reeves's. A remote deletion command targeted the kernel folder. He was scrubbing his tracks. Gavin would block him, but seconds mattered. Naomi triggered a system-wide lockdown, severing network access. Reeves was cut off, but so was she. Another alert, physical breach. Restricted Lab 3. The hum of servers was replaced by a heavy metallic thunk, the magnetic lock sealing. Reeves wasn't just remote. He was in the building. From the hall came muffled curses, frantic key swipes. The lock held for now. But a desperate man wouldn't stop at a door. Naomi scanned the lab. No weapons, no cover. Just glass and machines. If Reeves reached the terminal, he could destroy everything. She pulled up schematics. The wing was sealed, but a maintenance hatch led to ventilation. Outside, a high-pitched drill whined, Reeves forcing the lock. Naomi dragged a stool, straining against heavy bolts. One by one they groaned free. The panel fell open, revealing a dark shaft. Her only escape. Cool air hit her face as she slid inside, dragging the panel shut. Darkness closed in. Dust and oil filled her lungs. She flicked on her phone's light and crawled, the drill's whine fading into the hum of the building. Naomi crawled through the vents, following the schematics etched in her mind. Left at the junction, right past the roaring fan. The drive in her pocket pushed her forward as Alden's cruel words replayed. His protege figured it out years ago. Then her phone died. Darkness closed in. Panic clawed at her, but she steadied her breath and followed the faint currents of air. After what felt like forever, her hand hit a ladder. Relief almost buckled her. She climbed down, scraping her hands raw until she reached a panel. It creaked open, spilling her into a deserted office floor. Free. She sprinted for the stairwell, pounding downward until she burst into the lobby. Adrian Voss, flanked by guards, was mid-argument with staff. His head snapped up, eyes wide. "Miss Cole," he shouted, panic and relief in his voice. Naomi staggered forward, gasping, holding out the drive. "I have it. Everything." He took it just as the elevator chimed. The doors slid open. Dr. Malcolm Reeves stood inside, suit rumpled, hands greasy, drill clutched tight. His eyes locked on the drive, then on Naomi. He knew it was over. With a guttural cry he lunged, not for Adrian but for her. Hate, pure and instinctive. He never reached her. The guards tackled him hard, the drill clattering across marble. The man who nearly fooled the world writhed on the floor, broken. Adrian ignored him. His gaze lingered on Naomi, torn clothes, exhaustion in every line. He didn't see a waitress. He saw a warrior. "Let's finish this," he said, voice low with reckoning. Minutes later, the board meeting reconvened on the 60th floor. Sunlight slashed the glass, but the room was storm dark. Edward Langford and Kenji Mori sat stiff at the obsidian table, doubt still shadowing their eyes. Naomi sat beside Adrian, still in her torn uniform, a badge of who she was when this began. Guards dragged Reeves in, cuffed and pale. "Gentlemen," Adrian said coldly, "when we last spoke, an allegation arose. I investigated." He gestured to Naomi. "This is Naomi Cole, the true author of our project's foundation." Langford and Mori stared at her, disbelief shifting to reluctant curiosity. "That's absurd." Reeves spat. "She's nothing. A dropout trying to blackmail her way into fortune." Adrian ignored him. He slid a tablet to the screen. "Robert, you're right about one thing. Miss Cole is brilliant. Brilliant enough to expose your fraud." The MA_contingency folder filled the display. Adrian's voice cut like ice. "Reeves didn't blunder. He doctored our simulations and lied." He tapped again. The audio file played. Reeves's own voice conspiring with Richard Hayes to bury Voss Dynamics and sell the true formula for pennies. Hayes's smooth voice drew a furious hiss from Kenji Mori. Omnigen had long been his rival. When the recording ended, silence crushed the room. Malcolm Reeves slumped, pale and trembling. Edward Langford looked gut-punched. "The $5 million in crypto has already been traced," Adrian said coldly. "Half to Reeves, half to Professor Marcus Alden, his accomplice. Together, they planned to sell Ms. Cole's corrected formula after my company collapsed." Reeves broke, pointing at the speaker with cuffed hands. "Hayes forced me," Alden told him. "They said Voss was a fool. They offered me everything." His voice collapsed into sobs. Adrian rose slowly, towering over him. "You didn't just defraud investors. You were willing to build a facility that could explode. Willing to let people die while you counted blood money. The only reason that didn't happen is because of her." He pointed to Naomi Cole. "The woman you erased. She had more courage cleaning tables than you ever had as a scientist." He stopped inches away. "You're not just fired. I'll fund the federal investigation into you, Alden and Hayes. I'll spend whatever it takes to see you rot in prison. Get him out." The guards dragged Reeves away, his sobs trailing behind. Adrian returned to the head of the table. Langford and Mori's skepticism had turned into horrified respect. "Gentlemen," Adrian said, voice firm, "the Voss-Reeves catalyst is dead." He looked to Naomi, a rare smile breaking his face. "But the Cole catalyst is alive. Ms. Cole's formula isn't just stable, it's 20% more efficient than Reeves's false numbers. We are not at square one. We are light years ahead. He tore the old contract in half, then pulled up a new one on his laptop. This is the deal. A new subsidiary, Cole Evos Innovations. Ms. Cole will serve as CTO with 25% equity and full creative control. Non-negotiable. Are we in business? Langford and Maury exchanged a look, then turned to Naomi, the waitress in a torn uniform who now held the future of green energy. Langford grinned. Mr. Voss, he said, extending a hand to her, it would be an honor to invest in Ms. Cole's company. 6 months later, Naomi Cole stood in the Cole Evos Innovation Center, a 3-story cathedral of glass and steel. State-of-the-art equipment gleamed, chosen by her own hand. The black uniform was long gone, replaced by a white lab coat and confidence. Around her, 20 elite scientists worked with passion. At the center, a gleaming pilot-scale reactor waited for its first full-power test. Adrian Voss stood beside her in a matching coat. From the observation deck, Langford and Maury watched with pride. Ready, CTO Cole? Adrian asked. Naomi smiled. Ready, CO Voss. She initiated the sequence. Numbers climbed, pressure, temperature, energy input, and finally catalytic efficiency. The line soared, passing Reeves's lies, passing even Naomi's own models. The numbers climbed, then settled, 78% efficiency. The room gasped. Adrian's eyes widened. Naomi, that's impossible. The math doesn't lie, she said softly, echoing the night everything changed. Applause erupted from the observation deck. For Naomi it wasn't just triumph. It was restoration. That afternoon she sat in her sunlit office, the one that had replaced Adrian's obsidian suite. On the wall hung a framed napkin, not from the Marlowe but a new one in her hand, the Cole equation complete with the sigma correction. A quiet testament of victory. Her phone buzzed. A photo from her mother on a Mediterranean cruise. Medical bills paid, health restored. Thinking of you, my brilliant daughter. A knock. Adrian entered with a tablet. News you'll like. The headline blazed. Omnigen CEO Richard Hayes indicted. Former Professor Alden and scientist Reeves to testify. Justice. Real. Satisfying. They deserved it, Naomi said. They did, Adrian agreed. He studied her office, then her. Funny. I went to that dinner to sign a $100 million deal. I thought I was buying a formula. Instead, I found something more valuable. And what's that? Naomi asked, smiling. The person who wrote it, he said. I just had to look past the uniform. Naomi turned toward the skyline. Once a wall of unreachable light, now a horizon of possibility. Her past wasn't an anchor, it was a foundation. She had walked through betrayal and emerged forged, not broken. She was Naomi Cole. And she was home. In the end, it wasn't about money or fame. It was about integrity. Naomi's story reminds us, circumstances don't define worth. The world may see a waitress, a cashier, a janitor, but inside each of us can live a mind capable of changing the future. It's a lesson in courage, the courage to speak truth to power even when your voice shakes. Adrian thought he had all the answers. But the greatest truth came from the one person everyone else ignored. What hidden talents and dreams lie in you, waiting to be heard? If this story moved you, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to know their voice matters, and subscribe for more stories of hidden heroes.